This family moved into their parents' inherited house with a beautiful view. But it turns out that behind that beauty, there is a mystery that is the answer to why their parents died. At the beginning of the film, there is a woman sleeping with her daughter. At that time it was raining heavily, and on the other hand, her husband was going down a hallway behind their house. At first everything was fine, but suddenly the man experienced a bad incident. Something pulled him until he was no longer found. Meanwhile, this woman is named Jules. She owns a small shop that sells many reptiles and various other types of animals. She has a daughter named Ria who can't stay still and always wants to go out with her friends. Jules has a husband named Ben. They help each other to set up the pet shop, even though their economic condition is not good. Besides being a mother and wife, Jules is a student who understands a lot of knowledge about animals, both land and water. At that time when they were closed, there was a man who wanted to meet Ben. The man was named Tilbury. Tilbury came there to inform that he was sent by the insurance company to discuss the inheritance left by Ben's mother. There is a house that is quite far from there and has not been lived in for a long time. Ben said that his mother never told him about any inheritance, including the house. Maybe Tilbury was wrong, but Tilbury insisted that he was not wrong. The house had been bought by Ben's late father in 1935. Ben did not know much about his father's death. His mother only said that his father died in an accident. But Tilbury said something different. Ben's father died because he drowned with his sister. Ben just found out about it. Ben is free to do whatever he wants with the house. He can sell it or live in it. Ben decided to see the condition of the house and went there. It is quite far and passes through many forests. But their path is blocked by a large tree trunk. Ben tries to look around and his dog finds a small path to the house. The house looked covered in grass and plants because it had been neglected for a long time. Even the door was boarded up as if no one was allowed to enter. Ben and Jules opened the barrier board and they entered. There were still many appliances and furniture there. But why didn't his mother tell him this? Jules called Ben to see the beautiful view. Even though the house looked fragile and had no electricity, at least it had a beautiful view. Then Ben found a door to an underground water tank. The tank seemed to have been empty for a long time. Ben entered and it was very dark there. He found a kerosene lamp, then went back upstairs, but he forgot to close it again. Ben also asked Ria to stay away from the water tank. They started to store and organize their things. They also still haven't decided what they will do with the house. Sell it or live in it. Many items are still stored from the house, including letters related to Ben's late father and mother. From what they found, the newspaper clippings did say that Ben's father and sister died from drowning while swimming. But there is one source who said that they still suspect something is wrong, not long after their window was slammed shut. Maybe it was just the wind. The night was getting colder. Ria was asked to sleep first in her room, but she felt uneasy looking behind her bedroom door, as if someone was watching her. Meanwhile, Ben and Jules went back to reading old notes written by Ben's mother. 1946 was the first time his mother moved with Ben's father to the house. His mother and Ben's sister, Rose, lived happily there. At that time, Ben was still in the womb. Until one night, Ben's father left the house and went into the water tank to fix something. But until the morning, he didn't come out. The water tank had apparently been there since Ben's father bought the house. And since then, Ben's father has never been found. Her mother had reported this incident, but the results were in vain. Meanwhile, Ria still couldn't sleep and increasingly felt strange things. At that time, she saw the floor as if something was moving. She ran to her parents' room and told her mother that something was trying to enter their house. Jules, who heard that, was shocked and panicked. She woke Ben to find out together. Ben went to the right side while Jules went to the other side. But they didn't find anything suspicious, maybe just the wind was too strong. The next day, Ben found a water pump connected to an underground water tank. But he had to go down to the tank to open the tap and fill the tank. It is said that the water source to the tank comes from a water source that will probably never run out. Ben went in using a flashlight and slowly looked for a pipe to open the water tap. He found it, but his hand was injured and bleeding. Ben managed to open the water tap and start filling the tank. When he wanted to take the flashlight, he pushed it further inside. It turned out there was still a secret room, but only a child could get through. The place was very narrow and dark, and the condition was similar to a cave. Not only that, Ben also found a rather strange animal. He took it and showed it to Jules. The shape was a bit strange, but from its characteristics, the animal belonged to the amphibian group that could live in two habitats. Then the animal also had sharp teeth. Outside, Rhea saw her dog barking at the water tank. Rhea, who was curious, approached and called her father, but he screamed until Ben and Jules came to him. Not long after, a woman came to their house named Muriel. She was an envoy from Tilbury. She wanted to inform them that there was a buyer who wanted to buy Ben's house. She was even willing to pay a fairly high price. Ben and Jules were very happy, but Muriel asked them to talk to the prospective buyer first and reach an agreement. It was getting dark. Muriel went home to return to her office. But at that time she experienced a strange incident. Her car got stuck and seemed to be stuck. Then she was attacked by something until she was pulled into the forest. Meanwhile, Jules woke up from her sleep because she felt a sound in the house. Jules went downstairs and saw a scary figure in the window. Jules screamed until Ben found out what was happening. Jules had just seen a strange creature with sharp teeth and claws. But when Ben looked for it, he found nothing. In the morning, when he turned on the tap, water came out with black mud. Ben went down to the tank to find out the cause. The tank was already full of water, so the journey was a bit slow. Ben found a fox carcass there, maybe that was the cause. But he also found a necklace, and the necklace was similar to the necklace worn by Rose, Ben's sister. They had to report this to the police. Ben agreed, and he would go there and fill up with gas. But on the way, he saw Muriel's car still stuck there. Ben tried to find out what happened. There were traces until he found Muriel dead with his stomach ripped open. Ben hurried back to the car and tried to contact the nearest police using the radio. Meanwhile, Jules found water stains on the floor of the house. Jules looked for where they came from. Jules arrived at a room that had never been opened. There she found Ben's mother's diary, but suddenly the door was locked, so Jules had to get out through a small window. On the other hand, Ben rushed back home and felt that Jules and Rhea were in danger. Ben asked Jules to lock all the doors and start packing up. Jules also told him the fact that his father and Rose died in this house. Someone attacked them. That's why Ben's mother never told him about this house. She covered it so they wouldn't occupy the house, and the most important message if you're at home is to run from there. But Ben heard the sound of sirens from a distance, and it must be the police. Unfortunately, the police were attacked by a terrifying black creature. Ben, who was heading there, saw the incident and ran away, leaving the police. Ben returned home, and they were in big trouble. It turned out that the place was cursed. There was a monster stalking them. It emerged from the underground water tank, the only way to destroy its nest. Ben made a homemade bomb and dove into the water tank. Inside the tank, Ben found the policeman's body. Ben continued to focus on his goal, then he saw the monster watching him from afar and then dived back. Ben managed to get into the cave and ignited the bomb, but the bomb exploded faster than expected until Ben was injured. This was exacerbated by the attack from the monster. On the other hand, Jules and Rhea also got terror. The monster managed to take Rhea. It turned out that there was not only one monster, but there were several. Ben, who managed to climb, saw Rhea being taken by the monster to its nest. While Jules finds a way to keep the monster away, it turns out the monster is afraid of bright lights and fire. Now it's Jules' turn to go down to the water tank to retrieve Rhea. Armed with a torch and a straw picker, Jules begins searching for Rhea. He confronts the monster many times, but he is not afraid, even managing to kill them one by one. After successfully getting Rhea, Jules takes her to the car with their dog. Jules returns for Ben. After successfully picking up Ben, they are terrorized again by the monster. But this time Jules is angry and shoots it. In the end, they manage to get out of the forest and leave the house.